Yo, what up, what up? See, man, Big Brandon Carter. People have been asking me to do this for a long time. I'm doing my top 10 favorite books of all time. And my top 10, you know, it's meaningful for me to make a top 10 because I've read hundreds of books. I know I'm a speed reader. I read at least 2 books a week. I said in another video, I was telling people that, you know, I've been tested. I read about 600 words per minute. And people are like, 600 words per minute? Yeah, right. That's fucking impossible. And people say that because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? The average college student reads about 400 to 500 words per minute. So it's really like not even 600 words per minute. It's really not that impressive. It's like a little bit better than a fucking kid, you know, the average kid in college. College professors on average read about 800 words per minute. And that's not even, so like 600 words per minute, I learned how to do it by taking a speed reading class. I'll put a link to them below. I'm not affiliated with or sponsored by with them, and then just people ask. That's not even really, that's considered low level speed reading at best, right? Like real speed readers, people who like legit speed reading, that's like 1,000 words per minute and up. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I did a little rant. But maybe I'll do a video, if y'all want, maybe I'll do a video on how to read faster at some point. But anyway, my top 10 favorite books of all time. This is just my top 10. Maybe there's better. I'm gonna put a link to all these books in the description below. Number 10 is Overcoming Gravity. You know, if you're in the bodyweight training, calisthenics, this is the Bible. This is the bodyweight Bible. There's other books on bodyweight training, but none are better than this. I've read a lot, and I have a lot. None are better than this. It's written by Steve Lowe, an old school gymnastics instructor. Because when you do the street workout and all that stuff, it's basically hood gymnastics, right? That's how it started, right? Just people who couldn't afford the gym, they just started working out in the street, right? That's how it started. So you might as well go to the root, which is gymnastics, the source material. Man, basically tells you how to do every move. It shows you all the progressions, diagrams of it. You know, if you want to learn how to do muscle ups, planche, any of that, this is the best book on the subject. Number 9, the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you're into bodybuilding, this is basically the bodybuilding Bible. If that was the bodyweight Bible, this is the bodybuilding Bible. Now he has workouts in here, programs. They seem like they're a little too much, like too intense for guys that aren't on the juice, you know. But then again, I've heard of people who aren't on the juice doing these programs. I've never done the programs in this book, right? It's just a little too intense, I think. But it'd be a good challenge for you, especially if you're advanced. Even if you don't follow the programs, you get like basically every exercise. Every bodybuilding exercise there is basically in here. It's an encyclopedia, right? It's an encyclopedia, so you don't have to just follow the workout. That's the main criticism this book is the workouts are too intense. But you can just take pieces of them. You know what I'm saying? This is encyclopedia. It's not even, you know, when you get to encyclopedia, a lot of you guys are young, so you might not know what an encyclopedia is, but when you get an encyclopedia, you don't read it from cover to cover. I mean, you can, and I have read this one from cover to cover, but that's not really how it's meant to be used. It's meant to be used by, like, you look for the information that you need. So this is just good to have on deck when you need, hey, what's some good shoulder exercises? What are some good calf exercises? What are, and, you know, and you get all of them. So this is just good to just have on deck. You know, diet, all that shit. Number 8, Mean Genes. Mean Genes is written by 2 Harvard professors, and it basically explains from an evolutionary perspective why we do a lot of things we do, why we make a lot of decisions we make, as far as, you know, why. I mean, they break it down, like why you can't stop eating sweets, you know, why people cheat on their mates, why some people it's easy for some people to achieve success than others. It's like, it breaks it all down from an evolutionary perspective. If you don't believe in evolution, I mean, you're screwed anyway, but this is not going to be a good book for you, you know what I'm saying? But if you do believe in evolution, and you should, and this is what's up, this will teach you a lot about yourself and the other humans around you. You know, why do women live longer than men? It tells you right here in the book, you know. Why are some people lazier than others? It tells you right here in the book. Why do we find certain people attractive? It tells you right here in the book. Why do we cheat on our mates? It tells you right here in the book. Why do we like taking risks? Why do people like taking risks, gambling, you know, bungee jumping? It tells you right here in the book, man. Basically, it explains, it's almost like the owner's manual to your body. to your mind and body, you know, from an evolutionary perspective, and they go down and they break it all down. Number 7, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And this book really impacted me when I was younger. A lot of stuff he says about, you know, college being bullshit and all that stuff, I don't necessarily agree with. I don't think college is mandatory, but you know, I think it's beneficial for a lot of people. It was beneficial for me, man. Like, if it wasn't for college, I'd probably still be in the motherfucking hood, you know, real talk. So anyway, this helped me out a lot. But this is still a good book, especially if you want to run a business, you know. If you want to be a businessman, it explains to you a lot about business. And one of the main things I took from it is, like, you know, some people say they have a fucking business, but they really have a job. You know, what they really did is they created a job for themselves. And Robert talks about, like, yo, if you have to be there for the business to run, to make money, then it's not a business, it's a job, right? Like a doctor, for instance. Now, doctor's definitely an honorable profession. I don't want to shit on doctors. But, you know, a doctor, he's self-employed, but he has to see patients to make money. You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody's on the right here, unless he has his own practice and yeah, that's different. That's a different part of his business. I mean, just saying, as far as being a doctor is concerned, you have to operate on, or a dentist. You know, you gotta be in somebody's mouth, pause, to make money, right? But like, if you have an online business, like me, like I run my business online. People always ask what I do for a living. I do a lot of, you know, internet marketing and shit like that. I have, you know, websites or whatever that get traffic and people, you know, shit like that, and I monetize the traffic, right? I don't have to do shit for those websites to make money anymore. Now they're all set up. I have to work to set that shit up, set up that infrastructure, and I have to work to increase the money, the amount of money it makes, and maybe to maintain it for, you know, to some degree, but I can take fucking months off, and I'll still be making money. Maybe not as much as I put in to work every day, but it still be making money, right? That's a fucking business. That's the business. If you have to be there, then you created a job for yourself. And he talks about that and a lot of that was the one thing that really hit me with this book when I read it when I was like 17. But there's more to it than just as far as how to deal with money, how to get money to work for you instead of working for money. Working for money is a sucker move, man. Especially exchanging time for money. Like, unless you love your job, you know, that's one thing. Then it has, you know, intrinsic value, you know, or your job does something important for the community or the world. That, I mean, it has intrinsic value, but economically, it's not effective. Economically, it's still ineffective. It's still a sucker move economically. So even if you love your job or you get all this other shit out of it that's intrinsic, it's still a sucker move economically. So that means if you do love your job, you're doing all this shit because you love it, you still have to find another way. you still have to find another way to make money for economically, whether that be that's going to be investments, really. That's going to be investment, because exchanging time for money is a sucker move. That's why I don't train people one-on-one anymore. Like, it's just a sucker move. Even when I was getting over $100 an hour to do it. I mean, I can do that now. I can charge more than $100 an hour now. There was a time I was charging $100 an hour to people to train with me. I wouldn't even do that now, man, because that's a sucker move. Exchanging time for money is a sucker move, bro. I wouldn't even take that money. People be asking me, like, they would say, oh, I'll pay you this much, I'll pay you that. I train people for free when I train people. I did the boot camps all summer for free, right? I don't want to exchange time for money, man, because I don't even want to be in that habit or that mindset. That's a sucker mindset, man. Economically, right? Economically, it's a sucker move. If you just like training people, then that's cool. You can get something intrinsic out of it. But train those motherfuckers one-on-one. Like, I'm training motherfuckers for free. Like I do. I train people for free. I do this YouTube shit. This is not how I make my money. This is just for fun. I feel like it helps me. It helps me because I get something intrinsic out of people telling me my videos have impacted their life. I get these messages, emails every day that people have changed their lives. And that makes me feel good, right? But I do other shit for money. You get what I'm saying? Like, you might like being a doctor, right? Because you get to save lives. And that's dope. That's awesome. But economically, you need to take your money that you're making from your practice and invest it in other things that will make money, like, you know, whether it's stocks or real estate or maybe a side business, right? Because you can do stuff because you love it, but sometimes you gotta do shit for money too. They're two different things. They're just two different things. Sometimes the best of both worlds, you can blend them together, but don't get them fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. Doing shit for money and doing shit because you love it are just two different things. Anyway, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I can talk about that shit all day. Number 6, this book really touched me when I was like, I want to say I was 18 when I read this, and this is Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. Look how many times I read this. All right, look how many times I read this and highlighted it up. My book is literally falling apart. It's in pieces. I went and bought another copy. I got another copy up here. But it's in pieces. Every page is like highlighted up because it's highlight. Is that you say highlighted? This book had a huge impact on me. I've read it so many times. I ruined it. I read it so many times. I wore it out. I wore this thing out. This book, Brian Tracy, he goes into just how to accomplish goals, man. How to be successful. How to accomplish things you want to do. How to set goals, make plans to achieve them, and then achieve them, man. Like how to get from point A to point B. How to navigate the terrain in between. And just any goal, whether it's financial or relationship, shit like that. He breaks it down, man. Just achievement, maximum achievement. Brian Tracy's written a lot of books, and I think this is his best, in my humble opinion. Number 5, Willpower, Rediscovering Our Greatest Human Strength. This book, basically, like if you have any problems, any issues, trying to deal with, if you have laziness issues, or if you feel like you're lazy, or if you feel like you don't have the motivation to go out and accomplish things, or you just don't have the willpower or the determination to go out and do what you're supposed to do, discipline, this book will help you. This book will, first of all, tell you why, give you a lot of reasons why, right? How what you eat can affect what you eat or what you don't eat, how that can affect your discipline. Stuff like that, shit like that you wouldn't even know, but that these doctors, the authors, they cite tons of scientific studies explaining it. Listen, discipline is basically, this is what discipline is. Discipline is doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you want to or not. Right? And this book tells you how to build that habit. It breaks it down, goes into great detail on how to build that. Listen, without discipline, all the information in the world, all the how-to, all the knowledge, all the opportunities are bullshit. Like it's worthless. You're not going to accomplish anything. You can have all the opportunities put in front of you, just the path laid out to you, anything you want to accomplish. But if you don't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you want to or not, you will not achieve success. Like success doesn't come. When I was younger, I used to think that success. So some people were just good at shit, or some people just had it easy, and a lot of you guys feel that way now, but that's not the truth, man. That's not the truth. Kobe Bryant, I'm sure he had some genetic endowments, right? But he shoots 1,000 shots a day. That's why he's one of the greatest offensive players of all time. He shoots 1,000 shots a day. Listen, if you weren't as physically gifted or genetically gifted as Kobe, then you don't sit around complaining, hey, Kobe's, his dad was a professional basketball player, so he had all these advantages that I don't have. No, you have to work at least as hard as him if you're at a disadvantage. You have to work at least as hard as him. If he's got more advantages than you, you need to be working twice as hard as him. Right? If you're not as good at that, if you don't have the same advantage Kobe Bryant has, don't complain about how he has advantages. Go out and shoot 2,000 shots a day. You know what I'm saying? Stephen King, he wasn't just a good writer for no reason, just born that way. Nah, man, he writes 4 hours a day, no matter what. Thinks of it as practice. People say I got good genetics. Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. But here's the thing. For the last 5 years, I've kept a notebook, a detailed training nutrition log, write down everything I've ever eaten, everything I eat every day, how much water I drink every day, how much sleep I get every night, every rep of every set. Right? If my genetics are just so much better than yours, then you need to at least be working as hard as me. But you really, if I'm that much better than you, genetically, right? If I'm so much genetically superior, then that means you have to work twice as hard as me. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever. I don't think I'm very genetically gifted, because if I was, everyone in my family would be in good shape, and that is not the case. I'll put in the work. How do you put in the work? Discipline. How do you get discipline? You read Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. Number 4, we're getting into it, man. Meditations. Marcus Aurelius. This is a new copy of it because I fucked up my other copy so bad. But listen, Marcus Aurelius was emperor, a Roman emperor, not a CEO, not a king, not a president, an emperor. All right, he was literally the most powerful man on earth when he wrote this. All right, and he didn't write this for it to be consumed by the public. He never even intended for this book to be released. He wrote this book for him. This was basically like his diary, like it was stuff that he wanted himself to remember about life, about success, about how the world works. And it's, basically he's one of the first Stoics. And Stoicism is basically, being pragmatic, understanding that shit is gonna go wrong. Shit's gonna go bad. People are gonna hurt you. People are gonna do evil. It's gonna rain sometimes. You don't complain about that stuff. You don't cry about that stuff. It's gonna happen, whether you cry about it or not. Getting mad doesn't help. Crying doesn't help. Marcus said, be tough, be strong, accept that shit, and move forward anyway. Accept the fact that people are gonna hurt you. Move forward anyway. People are gonna die around you. Accept it. Cherish them while they're here, because they will leave. They will die. Everybody you know, everybody you love is gonna die. It's basically a countdown. We're all of us though, man. Nobody makes it out of here alive. We're all basically dead men walking. It's only a matter of time before we're all dead. What are you gonna do in the meantime? That's why the now is so precious, right? Everybody's gonna die. You need to enjoy those people while they're here. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna die. What are you gonna do between now and then? It's gonna happen. How are you gonna leave your mark? Are you gonna leave the world better than you found it? Or are you just here taking up space and consuming resources? Right? Will people be glad that you lived? Or you just be another fucking dead guy? For real. Will the people that come behind you be better off because of your life? Right? Marcus, these are things Marcus talked about, man. He also talked about like dealing with others. People are gonna hurt you, man. People are gonna hurt you. People are going to do bad things. And you need to know that. Protect yourself against it. But kind of accept it, man. Like, accept people for who they are. That's what I always tell my people around me, man. Like, if they're dealing with somebody and they're not the way you are, don't try to change it, man. Don't try to change it, man. Like, don't try to make cats bark. I have a cat. I don't get mad at him for not barking. You know what I'm saying? I accept who he is and work with him within those parameters. You know what I'm saying? And that's how some people are evil. Some people are jealous. Some people are haters. Some people don't have your best interest in mind. You act accordingly. You know what I'm saying? That's who they are. Okay, act accordingly. Right? Don't buy a dog and be mad that you have to walk it twice a day. That's what dogs do. Right? If somebody's around you and he acts crazy, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, or he does things that piss you off, you kind of have to accept that, and act accordingly. Maybe you punish him, maybe you don't. You do what's best. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you put the hands on him, maybe you don't. You do what works best. But I can't explain Stoicism as well as Marcus can. Like, this is basically, I know Bill Clinton travels with this book. The former Prime Minister of China said he read this 2 or 3 times every year. He went back to it and read it 2 or 3 times every year. The whole philosophy of Stoicism is really something that has helped me, right? Just knowing this shit's gonna go bad. And kind of acting accordingly. Don't get wrapped up in it emotionally. And move forward anyway. It's like you see some people, like you see how weak some people are, man. Like they're just so mad that the world doesn't conform to its preferences. But you understand that that's not reality. Other people and circumstances are not just going to do what you want them to do just because you have these preferences. You gotta, like, sometimes it's going to rain outside. Every time it rains here in New York, people are pissing and moaning and acting like bitches, right? But that's just the way the precipitation system works. It's going to rain here a few times a month. In the northeastern part of the United States, it's going to rain a few times a month. That's just how the precipitation system works. And you need to either accept that, and you got to accept that, or move to like a desert climate where you want to deal with that, right? But don't sit around complaining about it, crying about it, because that's not going to help. Every time you complain about the rain, you're basically just putting your weakness on display. Now, rain can be used as a metaphor for everything. People talking shit about you, that's going to happen. You guys going to happen. There's no way to circumvent that. No one gets unanimous praise. Right? They fucking killed Jesus. They killed Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? They killed JFK. Right? Nobody gets unanimous praise. People won't talk shit about you. People won't do things that hurt you, man. People won't do things that hurt you. You can count on that. You know what I'm saying? Expect it. People are going to die. You're going to die. You're going to get hurt. That's why people say, oh man, don't do that. You're going to snap some shit up. Or, oh man, you're going to snap some shit up, do that. I can't do that. I'm afraid I'm going to snap some shit up. Listen, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. There's no way to circumvent that. Try to mitigate it if you want. But getting around it, you're fucking tripping. Everybody I know who's been doing bodybuilding for a certain amount of time has some sort of injury. It's going to happen. Wait for it. I bet you. I'll put anything on it. Bad things are going to happen. It's basically you live your whole life going from tragedy to tragedy. Your whole life is going to be a series of tragedies. But within that, you can find the beauty. You know what I'm saying? Within that, you can find the beauty. Like the bad, Marcus talks about how the bad things in your life make the good things better. Like for instance, the fact that it does rain makes you appreciate the sunshine. And use that, you can again use that rain metaphorically for anything in your life. The fact that you've like I've been in bad relationships. It makes me appreciate the good relationship better. You know what I'm saying? I've been poor, living in the street, real talk, living in my car, didn't know how I was going to eat. Right? It seems like a bad thing, but really, it makes me appreciate the good things more. Now that I'm financially secure, financially independent, I appreciate that more than if I never had it. The bitter helps you appreciate the sweet. So all these things that you consider bad, Marcus tells you they aren't bad things. In fact, you need these things to appreciate the good things. Or you'll be like those rich kids who act like spoiled brats all the time because they have always had what they want. They haven't experienced the peaks and valleys. That's why they do so many drugs. That's why all these rich kids are doing drugs, right? Because they've never experienced the real lows. You know? The bad helps you appreciate the good, man. Marcus talked about that. Stoicism teaches you that. You roll with it. You expect it. You don't get emotionally wrapped up in it, and you use that to appreciate the good. So it's like a judo. So like the bad things that are bad actually become good. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had a bad boss, that does two good things for you. One, it makes you appreciate your next boss that might be better, or the next job you have, you might be in a better situation going forward. But also, I assume you all want to be bosses, or you're going to be in charge of somebody at some point, whether it's a kid or you're some social group. Now you know how not to be a bad boss. It's like that with everything, man. It's like that with everything. You fucking break your leg. Now you appreciate once it heals, you'll appreciate having good legs. You know what I'm saying? Having two healthy legs. You might have taken it for granted prior to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going off on a tangent, man. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, required reading. Number 3. How to win. Number 3. This is my copy of this book. This is the book that got me into reading. Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. My copy is so fucked up. Like, look at it. It's literally, I read the shit out of it. I read it apart, basically. The reason this book is so important, man, it talks about so a lot of people shit on the whole self-help genre or Tony Robbins in general, you know, call him charlatan or things of that nature. I think most of those people really haven't read the material. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna shit on something, you should at least be familiar with it enough to shit on it, right? Like, I read books for people I don't agree with. You know, I've read books on subjects that I don't necessarily agree with, just to have a clear understanding. Maybe I'll learn something that'll change my viewpoint. You know, maybe it'll shed some light on it, right? So anyway, people who talk shit about Tony Robbins usually haven't read the source material, right? This book really changed my life, man. It made me a better person, a happier person, right? One of the main things, he talks about a lot of things in this book. It's real similar to Maximum Achievement, but Maximum Achievement is better just for pure success. This book is like it just took my life to another level, like as far as, here's one chapter in particular, he talks about changing your state. Basically, feeling like this book taught me that you can basically feel how you want to feel regardless of circumstances, regardless of what's going on, right? And that's a lot to say. That's a lot like what Marcus Aurelius was talking about. Like you can't control outside events, outside circumstances. You can't control other people, but you can't control yourself. And Tony Robbins talks about, this one book on changing your state. He talked about how to change your state, like your emotional state, like, and how to separate that from your circumstances, right? Because if your emotions are controlled by outside factors like people or your circumstances, then are you really in charge of your emotions? You're in real life, you're responsible for your own emotions, not other people. I was having this discussion with some kid on you know, in the comments, like, he's like, yo, if somebody offends your mother, what do you mean, you're saying you shouldn't be offended? I'm like, no, listen, your mother probably wasn't there, right? Your mother wasn't offended. You were, right? You could control how your circumstances, man. Like, if things aren't going right, you don't have to feel sad. You don't have to be sad about that. You can find other things to be happy for. You can control your emotions. And once you learn to control your emotions, your whole life changes. You don't need drugs. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, I mean, not saying drugs are bad, whatever. I've done drugs or whatever. I've done, you know, acid, weed, LSD. I smoke weed from time to time, but I don't need that. Like, I don't like it as much as most people, right? Because I'm not trying to escape anything. I'm not saying everybody who does a drug does that, but a lot of people do. A lot of people are trying to escape life, you know? But I'm not trying to escape life because I can control my own emotions. I can control my own state. I can feel the way I want to feel, regardless of circumstances. And that's powerful, man. That's powerful. So like, when I go out, try to accomplish goals, try to get more money or status or whatever it is, I'm not doing it because I'm chasing an emotion. That's a sucker game. That's a sucker move, right? Don't try to make more money or get status or have sex with somebody to change that emotion, to chase an emotion. If you already have the emotion, whether it's confidence or feeling good about yourself or happiness, Mostly you're seeking happiness, right? Psychologists will tell you, or even Tony talks about in his book, people doing what they're doing, almost everything you do is to avoid pleasure, to avoid pain or to seek pleasure. Everything you do. But when you realize you can achieve pleasure within happiness or whatever, then you can still go after outside things like, a new job or more money or status, but you're not doing it to make you happy, just to make you happy, right? Because you're already happy. So it takes a lot of the pressure out of it. And because you're not pressured, you're not moving as panicky, and you can make better decisions because the emotions aren't involved with your goals. You're not wrapped up emotionally in your goals, so you can think a lot more clear and make better decisions and accomplish your goals easier. Anyway, you gotta learn to control your state. And this book talks about a lot more than that, but that was the main thing that I took from this. It sounds a little soft, hey man, it's all within. But it's really just how you think, man. See your fucking mindset. That's what affects your life more than anything. Success in life, is more mindset than skill set. I know dumbasses who make a lot of money. Dumbasses make money. Dumbasses get rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, dumbasses accomplish things. Dumbasses fuck hot girls. Right? It's more mindset than skill set. It's more mindset than skill set. This helps you get your mindset right, man. For real. Number 2. 48 Laws of Power. I love this shit, man. I actually have all 48 laws memorized. Like, I read it so many times. I actually have all 48 laws memorized. And it's like, people think that it's manipulative. Like, that's one of the criticisms this book gets. It's like, it's how to manipulate people or how to get people to, There's some of that in here. But it also shows you how not to get manipulated. How not to get taken advantage of. I don't have to read this over and over again because I fucking memorized it. You know what I'm saying? I memorized every law. I can recite this shit to you. It's important, especially as you navigate through different terrain in business or social, or anything. When you start moving up, when your life starts taking a upward trajectory, you're gonna need knowledge. You're gonna need, and this is part of that knowledge that I think you kind of need. Some people, I believe everyone who accomplished like a lot of great things knows what's in this book, whether they were taught to by someone else or they read the book or they just, it's kind of hard to be successful without following these rules, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of hard. Like, if you break some of these rules, you're gonna be all fucked up. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. If you're telling everybody what you're going to do, you're letting everybody know your plans, then you probably have some enemies if you're successful. Successful people always have enemies. Right? Whether it's just jealous. It might just be someone who's just jealous. It might be someone who feels like you beat them at their spot, And if they know what you're going to do, they know your next move, man, and they can try to find ways to prevent you from getting there. Or nothing else, if you miss the mark that you aim for, they can laugh at you. Your enemies can laugh at you. You don't want that. Little shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Law number 2. You know what I'm saying? Never put too much trust in friends. You know what I'm saying? Your friends will fuck you up. The people who are close to you will fuck you up. So you gotta find ways to circumvent that from the onset, right? Like, people around me can't really ruin my shit, It's set up in a manner with my friends, my girl, my family, they can't ruin my shit. They don't know all the secrets. They don't know all the everything that's going on, right? You know what I'm saying? Never put too much trust in friends, man. Or fucking law 15, crush your enemy totally, right? If I go to war with somebody, it's a wrap for them. So I pick and choose. Is it worth me demolishing this person? Or should I just let it slide? Right? I let a lot of people slide because I don't want to put the effort that's required to totally crush them. But then when I do go after somebody, it's a wrap. Crushing them totally, man. Like Machiavelli said, man, if an injury must be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be worried about. You know what I'm saying? That's how I roll, man. I'm not saying murder, but that's not off the table either. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know, that's not everything's off the table. Whatever's good, whatever I need to do to crush an enemy, that's what I go for. If we're gonna engage, right? So if I'm not willing to go that far, I probably don't engage. And if you're not willing to go that far, you shouldn't engage with me, because I'm probably willing to take it to a place you're not willing to take it. And there's more than that. I kind of just went off topic on that, but there's more to it than that. You know, read this book, bro. Don't fuck this up. Read this book. And number one, my favorite. I have it the Kindle version because I actually lost I read this shit so many times. I actually lost my physical copy. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book really, it'll make you, here's what you get from reading this book. You'll be more charismatic. You'll have more friends. You'll be more influential in business and in life. You know, people will respect you more. People will like you more. People will flock to you. You won't have to worry about, like, this is better than all the game books you guys read. You guys are into like the game and you know, pickup artist shit is better than all that. It's better than all that, man. Women will love to be around you. People always ask me, man, how you know all these beautiful women? How you know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, man, I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I memorized it. So it's not just women around me, men too. Pause. Not in that way, but they fucking like me. You know, I got a lot of friends. There's a lot of people in my life. I'm not lonely. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I have to keep my phone off during the day so I'm not disturbed. Otherwise, you know, friends, family, acquaintances, people who want to be friends, whatever, will hit me up all day. And those are good problems to have, right? Because as humans, we need other people, man. Like, it's good to master your relationships with other people, because as humans, we need other people. You know what I'm saying? I know some people think, you know, there's certain schools of thought where that people think it's good to be selfish or it's all in for yourself. But that goes against all of human evolution. Like, let me ask you a question. Just from a purely evolutionary survival standpoint, let's say there's two species. They're identical physically, right? They're identical in every way, except for species one has every man for itself kind of philosophy, is just trying to get what he can get, is not dealing with other people in his species, not trying to help each other. Species two works together, you know what I'm saying, to accomplish things, to raise the children, to defend the village, to prepare to farm, to raise livestock, you know, agriculture, to invent technologies. They working together for all things, you know. Species one is like, yo, every man for himself, I'm gonna get mine. Who do you think is gonna survive? Who do you think's got the best chance to survive? Obviously, it's a species two, right? Because we're stronger together. We're stronger together as a species, as humans, right? So, having that said, knowing that you're stronger when we're in groups, right? Shouldn't you master your relationship with others? Just from a purely self-present, that's selfishness, right? If you want to be selfish, you need to master your relationship with others, because you're always going to need somebody. To accomplish anything, you're going to need someone. You cannot go at this shit alone. You cannot. I mean, you can go at it alone, but that's the man. When people say, "Hey, I did it all by myself. I'm alone, man. Ain't nobody helped me but me." They're plain semantics. Because we all need, because as humans, we cannot survive without each other. It's just not how it works. So knowing that, you need to master your relationships with humans. How to Win Friends and Influence People is how to do that. It's the most important thing you can learn. It's the most important thing you can learn, because almost everything we do involves other people. Right? I'm not making this video for nobody to watch it. If nobody watched it, it wouldn't mean anything. It would be worthless, right? But because the only thing that gives this video value is the fact that I know, you know, thousands watch it, right? That's what gives it value. Everything you do has to do with other people. If you're in business, to make money, you need other people to at least to be consumers, right? You create a product, or every business does one of two things. It creates a product or service, right? Every business creates a product or it creates a service, and then somebody buys with the intention of somebody buying it. There's no business model where you're not dependent on other people. There's no business model. Species don't exist. If like our species would die out if we didn't mate with other people. This is the most important thing. How you deal with other people, and the success and how successful you are dealing with other people, is really the most important thing you can learn during your time here on Earth. It's the thing that will impact you the most. And how to win friends with other, and influence people is basically Dale Carnegie lays it all out how to do it. So anyway, that's my top 10. This video is a lot longer than it probably should have been. Again, if you want to see any of the videos, if you want to click the link below to buy any of the books, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.